I'll now call the meeting to order and welcome everyone to our May Planning Advisory Committee meeting. We appreciate your attendance. So without further ado, we'll get right into the agenda for this evening. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest in general nature? Councillor McHugh.
Yeah, Chair, I have a potential conflict with staff report 26028 PD. Papers have been filled in and filed with the clerk. So,
Okay, thank you very much. Duly noted. Anyone else? None saw. All right, I would like a motion to approve the agenda as presented for the May 21st meeting. Ms. Simmons, Councillor O'Neill, any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. And now I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April the 16th, and any questions, comments, or corrections that you might have. Mr. Edison, Councillor McHugh, any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, we'll get right into the business of the evening. The public meetings are prescribed under the Planning Act and are conducted as prescribed by Section 3413 of the Planning Act, RSO 1994, one zoning bylaw amendment application affecting lands in the Sydney Ward, one zoning bylaw amendment affecting lands in the Trenton Ward, and one zoning bylaw amendment application affecting lands in the Murray Ward. The meeting will be conducted in the following manner. First, First, I'll identify each application being considered, and then I'll ask planning staff to outline each application being considered. Then if there are any members of the public who have registered in advance to attend and participate in the meeting and have any questions or comments regarding each application. If there are no public comments or questions, I will ask the committee if they have any questions and comments. Once all committee questions have been addressed, the committee will consider and vote on each application. If you wish to provide comments, please state your name and address for the record prior to addressing the committee. This committee has been delegated the responsibility to conduct public meetings as prescribed under the Planning Act. A full report of the meeting's proceedings will be submitted to City Council on Wednesday, June the 17th, 2026. Council will make the decision on each stated application. Anyone other than the applicant who wishes to receive further notice of Council's decision on each application must submit a written request for the notice of Council's decision to the Director of Planning and Development Services. I will now ask the Director of Planning and Development Services to please advise the committee on how notice of these meetings were given. Brian, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to the committee. Notice of the application has been considered this evening. We're given in keeping with the provisions of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 as amended, by first-class mail on May the 1st, 2026, and posting of signs on the subject properties on the same date.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll get right into the first staff report of the meeting. Is 7.1 staff report 26-023 PD, the zoning bylaw amendment application. The owners Edwin and Carolyn Zur. The location is 669 Foxborough Sterling Road. The file number is D09/S04/26. Madison, would you like to address this application, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair. This application is a condition of consent application B2-26S, in which one new 1.68 hectare lot was conditionally approved by the Committee of Adjustment on February 12, 2026. The purpose of this zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the severed lot from the rural zone to the rural residential zone. The retained lot would remain in the rural zone. This rezoning would bring the severed lot into conformity with the city's zoning bylaw and enable it to be developed with a single detached dwelling at a future time. Overall, this application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, conforms to the City of Quinte West official plan, and represents good planning. This application is therefore recommended for approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone in attendance who would entertain any questions, comments, or objections to this application? Seeing none, committee, I would ask that your consideration of the recommendation you have heard is to approve.
I'd like to approve it. I'll like to make the motion to approve.
Okay. I hope all is well at home, Don. I did see your email this afternoon, so thank you for your attendance. Okay, we'll do Councillor Quinte and Mr. Edison seconds. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. We'll now move to item 7.2, zoning bylaw amendment application, and the owner is Specialized Plumbing Limited. The agent is Greg King and Mike Whitehead. The location is 191 North Murray Street. The file number is D09/T05/26. Ashley, would you like to comment on this application, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of this zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the subject property from the general industrial zone to the service industrial exception 13 zone. The effect of the amendment is to allow for a wide range of permitted uses within the service industrial zone and additionally allow for the use of a motor vehicle rental agency as well as a restaurant on the subject property. It would also permit a reduced lot frontage of 32.38 meters instead of the required 36 meters. The rezoning would allow uses that are better suited for the subject property than what is being permitted. The plan justification report submitted in support of the application argues that the property is not well suited to the general industrial uses permitted under the general industrial zone. Further, the subject property is far better suited to service industrial and commercial uses, which typically occur in smaller buildings on smaller sites. In accordance with the official plan, these uses are ancillary to the industrial park and could offer services that benefit local industries and employees. The comments from the fire department state no concerns. Comments from Lower Trent Conservation indicate no objections. No residents to date have voiced concerns about the application. The application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, the city's official plan, and maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in opposition or have any general questions? Would the applicant like to speak or address the committee? Please come forward if you wish.
Hello, my name is Greg King. I'm one of the agents for this application. And first of all, I'd like to thank planning staff for their support of this application. We've read the recommendation and we concur with it. And I can answer any questions the committee may have. And I have the owner here as well. He can answer any questions as well.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, committee, you've heard the comments, and do you have any questions or comments of your own or concerns? If not, I would entertain a motion. You've heard the recommendation is to approve. Mr. Brown and Ms. Simmons, any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. We now move to item 7.3, staff report 26-025 PD zoning bylaw amendment application. The owner is Richard and Julie Lang. The agent is Alex Foster. The location is 64 Powerline Road. The file number is D09/M06/26. Katie, Whitehead, would you like to address this, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of this zoning amendment is to satisfy a condition of consent application B24/24M, which was conditionally approved by the Committee of Adjustment on September the 12th, 2024. The conditionally approved consent application creates one new developed lot consisting of an existing single detached dwelling, a detached garage, and a treehouse. While the retained parcel complies with the standard agricultural zone provisions, this application is required in order to ensure that residential uses are prohibited on the retained parcel in the future. Therefore, this application proposes to rezone the retained parcel to the agricultural exception 1 zone, which includes a special provision that prohibits all future residential uses. The proposed severed lot is to be rezoned to the rural residential exception 95 zone in order to recognize the reduced lot frontage and the existing detached garage that is situated closer to the road than the existing single detached dwelling. Overall, the application meets the intent of the provincial planning statement, the city's official plan, and maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have anyone in attendance who would wish to have any questions or opposition in regards to this application? Okay, seeing none, committee, I would ask for any questions or comments. Mr. Forsyth?
I'm good to go motion.
Okay, move. Seconded by Councilor McHugh. Any further questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Your comments regarding the applications and staff reports have been recorded and will be forwarded to the members of council together with the minutes of this meeting. Council will make a decision to approve or refuse each stated application at the regularly scheduled council meeting of Wednesday, June the 17th, 2026. We now come to the public input portion of the meeting. If we have anyone wish to come forward with any public questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Councilor McHugh, or Councilor Quinte, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Must have been the back feed I was hearing. It sounded like I was being paged, but anyway. All right. We now move into decision items. 11.1, staff report 26-026 PD, official plan amendment. And the file number is D09/S36/35. The owner is Hastings Enterprises, Inc. Agent is Doran Homes Limited. The address is vacant property east of 144 Huffman Road. Davina, would you like to address this application, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant has submitted an official plan amendment for the lands on vacant property east of 144 Huffman Road. The purpose of application D09-S36-225 is to expand the Frankfurt urban service area to include lands located west of the existing Rosewood Acres subdivision. The proposed official plan amendment also seeks to redesignate the subject lands from rural to urban planning District 3 in order to accommodate future residential development with approximately 206 residential dwelling units consisting of a mix of single detached dwellings and townhouse units. The statutory public meeting for this application occurred on March 19th, 2026. No members of the public attended the public meeting and no comments or concerns were raised regarding this application. The planning justification report and supporting technical studies address servicing capacity, environmental constraints, and overall site suitability. The subject lands are contiguous with the existing settlement area and represent a logical extension of the Rosewood Acres subdivision. Based on the supporting materials and comments received from Public Works, staff are satisfied that lands may be appropriately developed for future urban residential purposes. Overall, the application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, the city's official plan, and maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have anyone in attendance who wishes to ask any questions or comments regarding this application? Excuse me. Seeing none, committee, you've heard the recommendation and the report. I would entertain any comments or questions. Moved by Councilor McHugh, seconder, Ms. Simmons. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. We now move to item 11.2, staff report 26-027 PD, a deeming bylaw. File number is D12/M01/26. The owner is Warm Shields Limited. The agent is EcoView Consulting Services, Inc. The address is 43 Deerfield Road. Kelly, would you like to address this application for the committee, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So under Section 50 Sub 4 of the Planning Act, a municipal council can remove a specific lot or parts of a lot or a block from a registered plan of subdivision. And the purpose of this application is to deem blocks 14 to 17 not part of the Deerfield subdivision. Under the Planning Act, the subdivision must have been registered for a minimum of 8 years before the municipality can do a deeming bylaw, and Deerfield subdivision was registered back in 2003, so we're plenty of time away from that. These blocks were supposed to be conveyed to the municipality for future road connections to abutting properties. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure what happened, that those blocks did remain within the developer's name and didn't get transferred. And then subsequently they were transferred to other private individuals, as there were 2 road connections on either side of Deerfield. Staff, we reviewed this and we determined that really the cost benefit of trying to get these blocks back into city ownership at this time was really not practical. Some of the items that we looked at were sort of the potential of those abutting lands to be developed for using that road block connection, and it was really very limited, both due to some physical constraints on the abutting property, but as well as some policy changes that have now since taken place from 2003. Also, we determined that property taxes were being charged to that private individual for the last 10 years or so, as well as during our 2014 zoning bylaw, our comprehensive update that was done, we actually zoned the block as a residential property. So all things said, we provided the owner that as long as they could demonstrate that a development envelope could be accommodated with the well and septic as well, meeting our setbacks for the appropriate zone, then we would consider it like an existing lot of record. And we're using the deeming bylaw process now just to remove any potential legal encumbrances that might create doubt as to the original creation or the ownership of that property. We've been in contact with the purchaser's lawyer, and they are of the same opinion that we're using the right process here. So staff are recommending approval of this application.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone in attendance, excuse me, would like to address this issue? Seeing none, the committee, you've heard the report and the recommendation as presented. Mr. Edison moves. Mr. Forsyth, any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of approval, thank you. We now move to item 11.3, staff report 26-028 PD, sign variance, electronic message display sign. The owners, the Anglican Diocese of Ontario, St. George's Church, Trenton. The agent is Susan Rolfe. The address is 25 John Street. Ms. Rolfe, would you like to come and maybe address the committee, and then I'll have staff bring their recommendations forward and comments.
Okay, so my name is Susan Rolfe, and I'm the People's Warden of St. George's Church, so I represent them tonight. We have applied, we have an electronic message display sign that we would like to put on our property because we feel it is almost essential to help with our advertising of our church and the events that are happening. We do have 2 or 3 just regular signs on the property, and they're not doing the job. So we're applying for this, and I don't know, do I need to talk about the issues or? Okay, so we have been told that there are some issues with this, and I can address them right now. So the 2 issues that I was made aware of was, one, that we are zoned residential, even though if you cross the road, we're commercial. So we're right on the edge of it. There are no homes of any type in front of our church. They are at the side, and where I've been told that people have read our application and everything, so I don't know how much detail you want me to go into. However, the sign will be facing forward. It is not shown to any of the house. There's a house to the side. The front of that will not be reflecting on them in any way. We've made sure of that. Also, where the sign is, there will be a couple of trees, and the trees will be trimmed back a little to accommodate the sign. However, they will not be taken down, and we feel that that will also help with stopping any light. And the sign we have acquired is double, like you could have both sides. However, it'll only be necessary to have the one. The other one would just be on our property. And even if it was on, there's nobody, like, it goes down into a hill, and there are homes at the bottom. They would not even see it, so it isn't worthwhile. So we would just have the front reflecting, and it actually reflects into the back of JISC, the Jisk property. So we feel that that is a non-issue in our part, although we are residential. The other side of it is there are concerns, and I understand this, regarding the brightness of our sign and if it's going to be running night and day and if there will be graphics, all that sort of thing. And I can understand that. However, that will not be the case. We have purchased it solely for the use of our church. We try to help our community, and so with that, we want them to see the events that we have going on. We want them to see the times of our services, and as I said prior, there are signs there. You can't even read them from the road. I personally have come across people, tell them I'm a member of the Anglican Church, and they say, "Where is that church?" Are you kidding me? It's the oldest church in Trenton, but it being behind Jisk and surrounded by everything, we feel we need more advertisement, and that's why we want to put that up. I think, as far as I know, the signage itself meets all the size requirements, and it would be set back off the road enough and that type of thing. As I was told, I believe all of the things that are a concern, like having it going all night or the brightness of it, that type of thing, can all be controlled electronically by our computer people. So if it is passed, I'm going to be asking, are there, I don't know, would you be telling us that it has to be off by 10 and on by 7, that kind of thing? We're open to all recommendations in that way.
I can tell you in the past with some other applications that is a consideration, that's for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and
but we'll when we get into that, I'm sure I'll let our staff, after you're done your presentation, do theirs, and then the committee can have a chat about it and ask you any further pertinent questions
Okay.
about your operation. But
That's
I
great.
have to leave it up to their decision. And,
Absolutely, no, I understand that. I just wanted to say, I just wrote down a couple of things. So, like I said, we're the oldest church in Trenton. We're center of our community, and we serve our community. And we are not using this as gratification for the church. Hey, we're St. George's. We're using it to serve our community. It's a service to Trenton and area, and if we can't be found, then it's hard to serve them. So we're just trying to fulfill our reason for being around. The sign, we believe, is an important improvement to our ability to serve. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you for your presentation. Mr. Lappin, I guess you're filling in for your compatriot for this evening, Mr. Sikama, so I'll let you do the staff presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through to the committee. As indicated, is a sign variance request for St. George's Church at 25 John Street. Their proposal is to install a 13-foot-high pylon sign with an electronic message display face, which would be approximately 4 feet by 7.5 feet. You can see it on Appendix A up on the screen there, the location. Now, there's 2 sections of the sign bylaw that the variance is being sought for. It does not comply with the minimum setback of 150 meters from residential zones. It also does not comply with the minimum setback between other electronic message display signs, which is 2,000 meters. We have received comments from Planning Department that indicate they do not support it due to the proximity of the residential uses, those being Byron Street, Bay Street, and Campbell Street. And I think as Ms. Rolfe has indicated, the facing the direction of the sign and the trees are going to minimize some of that light spillover. We've also received comments from Economic Development Department which indicate they do not support the variance as it doesn't align with the specific downtown revitalization initiatives of the city. We did, as Ms. Rolfe indicated, we had a good conversation yesterday. And I think the concerns that the city typically has with electronic message display signs were conveyed to her. And I think she's been able to indicate that, you know, it's not going to be a sign that's flashing graphics. It's not going to be scrolling displays, rather just indicating the services and other works that the church carries out. But she also indicated we had a discussion about turning the sign off at night. So I believe she indicated between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. the sign would be shut down.
Okay, thank you very much. I know drove by it the other day after getting the agenda just to get a personal view of it. And as far as I'm concerned personally, where the present wooden sign is, if you put it there, it doesn't really shine on the, to me, the residential. It shows over the just parking lot towards Dundas, so, yep. Yep. Okay, that's what I kind of envisioned and with the drawings we had here, but of course until you know exactly where it's going to be staked and marked out, well, you never know. But anyway, I just wanted to see what the spillover, I'll put it that way, might be, but anyway. Committee, do you have any questions or comments or suggestions? Ms. Simmons?
Oh, hi, I also drove by it, and I think I would support this sign as long as it only is directed at the commercial site across from it, and there's no spillage over to the residential areas, and also with limitations, no flashing of the light, and the curfews as mentioned.
Okay. Councillor Quinte, you have a question?
Yes, I agree with Ms. Simmons. I drive by here all the time when I'm on my way to committee and council. And really, there's only one residential property that could possibly be affected. And the sign's not even going to be pointing in that direction. If they have the sign pointing north towards the parking lot, the Yisk parking lot, then as far as I can see, I don't think there's any residential homes or properties that could even see the sign if it's signing into the intersection. I guess my only question is, like, how bright or what's the brightness of this sign going to be? Because there's the strip plaza that's on the opposite corner. There's the Yisk store, the gas station, and the beer store. They're all in that intersection. And just curious if brightness of the sign is going to be of some distraction to drivers. That's really my only concern. Other than that, I think this sign is going to work if they keep to their hours.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Any other comments or questions? Mr. Brown?
Can I ask I think there was some concerns mentioned about economic development and downtown revitalization. Where was the connection there? They said, I guess it wasn't supported by them, but if we could just kind of get maybe a little more of a summary of what that was all about would help.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. That goes back to historically when the sign bylaw was originally drafted and passed. There was a number of public consultations. Economic development was a big driver behind this. They had, at the time, the city was trying to restrict signs because there was a little bit of too much signage going up without too much control over it. So this sign bylaw was an effort to really rein in and tighten in and put more restrictions on signs. There was a big part of that was to, I guess, promote and revitalize the downtown area. And they were very specific towards signage that would promote that. And I believe the representative from Economic Development is not here, but I believe her comment was based on electronic signs not really being included in that original I guess, vision of the revitalization of the downtown area.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to staff. It's my understanding the sign's not going to be pointed towards the commercial plaza or the gas stations. Is that correct?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I think you can see although I'm struggling to see it that far away, with the direction, I believe it is pointing back towards, I guess, the back parking lot of the commercial development, the Yisk store that is there.
So what Councillor Quince's concern is really, he doesn't need to be concerned about it, is my understanding?
Well, from what we have heard from Ms. Rolfe there is some trees there as well, and with the direction that the sign is facing, I think it minimizes the light spillage. Like, it's not going to be pointing right into somebody's living room or bedroom and blasting light at them. If anything, it's going to be the side of the sign, which you would get a little bit of light spillage there. And really, when the sign bylaw was drafted, it put in those distances between residential zones. And just a factor of where the church is located, it is surrounded by residential essentially on three sides. But with the actual location of the church on the lot and where the sign is, it's actually not, I mean, it's still within that distance to the residential zones, but it's actually not pointing at those individual houses.
And I guess the other thing I thought of about the light spillage, if this was approved, at certain times of the year, it's certainly going to be darker than others in the morning and the evenings, what have you. But with the street lights and stuff, it's still going to have a little bit of more a light aspect to it. That's not going to be like if it was in total darkness around it, where it's going to be, a more brilliant display. I'll put it that way. At least that's the way I looked at it. And when you're looking at the surrounding, because you got the parking lot lit up, the street lights and everything else. So even in the darker times of the year, if it does run on till 9 o'clock at night, why I think it won't be the same as if it was out in surrounded by total darkness. But that's just my opinion, and most people don't like to hear it anyway. So, but I'll say it. But anyway, committee, Councillor Quinte, do you have another question before I asked which way you want to support this, please?
Yes. The concern I had was for light spillage, I guess, is that's the right word, or brightness at the intersection of Byron and Dundas Street there. That particular intersection does have signage, like signs that it's a high collision intersection. I don't know that those signs actually do anything, but they're like yellow signs with black print on them, indicating to the motorists that they should take care entering the intersection because it's a high collision intersection. And I'm just hoping that this sign isn't going to cause any further distractions. And it's not so much the residential that I'm worried about, it's more the actual intersection is my only concern. I would like to see it go forward. And if we had to adjust it, is there a process that we would have to do if we got a complaint or something after the fact?
Well, I presume it's not going to be one that they can adjust. It's going to be fastened to the ground, but maybe Ms. Rolfe, I read, and Brian, would you like to comment on it, please?
Yeah, through Mr. Chair. Obviously, the sign is one street back from the intersection. I think there's, I think it was mentioned before, there is street lighting. There's other intervening light sources that are going to be closer to the intersection. I don't think that this would pose any level of additional risk at the intersection. I think normally these signs have the ability, if they have the ability to turn them on and off, they can change the brightness of them slightly. Usually there's that level of control. I think that would be our recourse. Obviously, the decision being made this evening, if it's to approve, the sign would go up and then it's there, it's got approval. But based on what's happening around there, I cannot foresee there would be any significant complaints. I think the interesting thing about the sign bylaw and the way that it deals with these electronic signs, because the committee are, and it gets a lot of debate, right? Because way more than other types of applications. But I think what it really signs is that the bylaw is kind of a gatekeeper, because if you have complete open path for electronic signage of any type within the downtown core, that can get excessive. And this process itself allows for this type of conversation, these types of controls to be put in place, some kind of moderation of the location or the way in which the sign is operated. That's the rationale for what we're doing here. But I don't see this sign as posing any additional light hazard at that intersection. It's too far separated.
Okay, thank you very much. And getting back to what Mr. Lappin said earlier about when we put this bylaw together, unfortunately or unfortunately, it took us a long time to tweak it and put it in place. But the biggest thing back then was we had sign wars with portable signs, and one business had put one, and then they had one right behind it within a few feet apart. And it got so, it was sign pollution in a sense, and I think that's what implemented it. But of course, we had to deal with the electronic signs and some of the other so-called billboards we had to deal with. But I know that's what spurred it when we started to put this together, was the portable sign. And so it's quite restrictive, but they're allowed, but it's another segment of it, I'll put it that way. So, do you have any further comments, Ms. Rolfe, before I turn it over to the committee for?
I appreciate all the comments, and I thought that they were really well-founded, and I can just assure you, as you said, once the sign's in place, it is a permanent sign. However, there's no end to the adjustments. I am not computer savvy that much, but our administrator is, but I did leaf through the hefty booklet, and the color, the strength of the sign, when it can be turned off and on, all sorts of things can be adjusted quite easily. And so going forward, if we're passed, we can certainly get advice as to, okay, how bright do you want it to be and no further, and when do you want it off and on, and all those types of things. That can be handled quite easily. But the other thing that I wanted to make note of, just because there's a lot of talk of what's going on that corner, and it was pointed out early on, the electronic message display sign stuff, and there were other ones there, and we were too close to them. However, when I read this is from the City of Quinte West, and it said, gave the definition, and it said a sign which is illuminated and which is electronically controlled and which displays information at a prearranged sequence. On that corner, the only one that is electronic and can be changed is the Ultramar sign, and they changed that. Everything else is static. The JISC sign is very bright, I guarantee that, and there is Pharma Plus and the beer store and those types of things, but they are not electronic message sign. Only this one would be, and the Ultramar. So that's something to consider as well when we go forward, because that was made note to me that, we'd be competing with a lot of other signs, and there aren't any others of that stature around there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, committee, Mr. Edison, you have a comment, or?
I'd like to change to approve the recommendation of the sign, as long as it meets the conditions that were discussed for the timeline for it, the brightness, and ensure the directions are set. So I'd like to move the motion.
Okay, and you want in the motion on and off times?
Is correct.
Are we looking at the same as what's been recommended, 9 till 7?
9 till 7.
Okay, everybody else?
And not flashing.
And not flashing, okay. Yeah. Static, but a lit background. Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Thank you for your attendance. Okay, folks, we'll move on to, we don't have no printed information. We have staff report 26-2029 PD, zoning bylaw comprehensive review. Welcome back, Councillor McHugh. And Davina, would you like to address this item, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the City of Quinte West has initiated a comprehensive zoning bylaw review for zoning bylaw 14-86 in order to ensure conformity with the city's updated official plan and consistency with current provincial planning legislation and policy. This review will evaluate the city's existing zoning framework, including definitions, permissions, development standards, mapping, and general provisions, while also considering recurring zoning issues and operational challenges. The comprehensive review has been divided into 2 phases, with Phase 1 underway, focused on research, policy analysis, and while Phase 2 to follow in 2027, which will include detailed drafting of the updated zoning bylaw, continued public and stakeholder consultation, statutory review processes, and final revisions leading to council adoption. Public and stakeholder engagement will form a key component of the comprehensive zoning bylaw review and will include public meetings, online engagement opportunities, social media updates, and statutory public consultation required under the Planning Act. Staff will continue working with the city's communications department throughout the review process to support public awareness and provide opportunities for residents and stakeholders to help inform future phases for review.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the committee regarding the report? Other than that, I would ask for a motion to receive. Ms. Simmons, Councillor McHugh. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. We now move to 12.2, the monthly planning and development reports. Item A, the building department report, monthly March 26 and year-to-date January to March 26. And I would ask for a motion to also support 12.3, the site plan control minutes of the regular meeting April the 9th. And entertain any questions or comments. Councillor McHugh moves. Get us move your motion on here. Councillor O'Neill. Any questions or comments regarding any of those? Councillor O'Neill and then Councillor McHugh.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to staff. For the building department year-to-date and the $16.1 million 6 Douglas Road, that's the homestead property, I think, but it says residential new. Is that not going to be a hotel?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor O'Neill. I actually asked the same question to Mr. Lappin earlier. It is the hotel indeed. Under the building code, it's classified under residential. That's the way it's classified under the building code. But you're correct, it is the hotel development. Yep.
Thank you.
That answered my question as well, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions of either of those two items? Ms. Simmons, please.
I just have a question. Why is there just parkland fee for residential new? Through.
Yes, through Mr. Chair. So basically, when we get new development, we take a parkland fee for residential. So whether it's for an individual home or if it's a subdivision, we either take land or we take a fee in lieu of land, and that's the funds that the city uses to develop new parks.
And I haven't got my mic on either, so unfortunately, sorry about that. Anyway, I want to thank you all for your attendance this evening, and staff, and our audience has shrunk, of course, but anyway, thank you for your attendance, and our next meeting date is scheduled for June the 18th, 2026, the same time, same place, so look forward to everyone being able to attend. Councillor Quinte, did you have any final comments? I missed you as I was going around the table.
No, thank you very much. I'll ask my questions of the planning director directly to him.
Okay.
I wanted to see it today, but I didn't get a chance to, so maybe another time. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I can see Brian, he's staying tuned. He'll be at a moment's notice anytime you want to get a hold of him. He's got his pager on, so night and day. Anyway, without further notice, with the hard decision we got to make now is adjournment. Mr. Edison, you're always right on the ball on that. It moves. Ms. Simmons seconds it. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.